Today on Guitar Discoveries, who plays vintage harmony guitars and why? A lot of songwriters and guitarists will tell you that certain guitars inspire certain songs. Sometimes they'll even use the words, that guitar gave me this song or gave me these songs. Similarly, you've got guitars that actually are responsible for helping launch artists' careers. A certain guitar that just did something. It spoke through that musician and helped put them on that trajectory to really take off. Now, you'd never expect cheap guitars, especially ones that were really aimed at beginners and students, to be the kind of inspirational guitars that would do this, right? Well, in the case of harmony guitars, you would be way wrong, because harmony guitars have helped launch some of the most important music careers and have inspired some of the most amazing songwriting really in rock history. Let's take a look. So I myself had always been a snob about harmonies. I thought harmonies are cheap, they're kind of junk. I really had no interest in it. The people who owned harmonies back in Michigan when I was growing up, a lot of them were kind of hard to play. I just was not impressed. Fast forward to 2012 when I received a Stella H29 as a gift and started playing it and just kind of loved it. I loved the funky factor of it. I thought it was really interesting. Then 2019, I received this as a gift from a subscriber. This is a Harmony Rocket H59. This guitar has completely messed with my head about harmony and made me fall in love with harmonies. So much so that I love these gold foil pickups so much that I ended up getting a H7, which is a lap steel made by Harmony with the same pickups. I just adore these pickups and the way they sound. So harmony's having its impact on me. And as I've done research, I've discovered that there is a whole group of influential musicians who have played and are still playing harmony guitars. So I wanted to share this amazing pantheon. Check this out. Let's go back to the 50s. That's where blues and what eventually became rock were all sort of commingling and merging with each other. There were major influences on early rock that were playing harmony-made guitars. Howlin' Wolf, Big Joe Williams, Elmore James, Ritchie Valens. That H44 Stratotone is like his thing. There's even a later signature edition. Elvis. Elvis was seen playing harmonies in a number of his movies, and it had a huge impact on people wanting to play harmony guitars. We jump to the 60s and you'll see that the Rolling Stones had harmonies figuring prominently in their early stuff. You got Keith Richards playing a Meteor and Brian Jones on a Stratotone. That's how they started their career. The Small Faces, Steve Marriott and Ronnie Lane, both were playing harmonies early on. Here's Steve Winwood as a teen with the Spencer Davis Group, playing a harmony rocket. To my ear, one of the most unique and important sounds that came out of England during the 60s was the sound of the Kinks. Dave Davies playing a harmony Meteor and cranking out the distorted tone from You Really Got Me, You Really Got Me, You Really Got Me, All Day and All of the Night, and So Tired of Waiting for You. Those are just super influential sounds, really aggressive. The story goes that he had an Elpico cheap amp and he didn't like the tone. He slashed the speaker of the Elpico. That shredded speaker cone and the Harmony Meteor are a big part of what is the distorted sound even of today. Harmony acoustics played a really important role in some of the key songwriting of the 60s. Pete Townshend of The Who had a Harmony Sovereign, an H1260 6-string. He used it in the studio and in lots of demo recordings. The story goes that he wrote a lot of the first 3 Who albums, My Generation, A Quick One, The Who Sellout. Those were largely written on that Harmony Sovereign.
The idea I've got is it's called Glittering Girl. I want it to sort of be very... It's got drums and well, the whole group will be in it.
He also had access to the 12-string version, an H1270, and that sound shows up on Marianne with the Shaky Hand, Sparks, and Underture from Tommy. Sometimes a harmony stepped into the limelight inadvertently. That's what happened when John Sebastian of the Loving Spoonful filled in for Tim Hardin, who was supposed to play at Woodstock. Tim had a harmony sovereign, and John didn't even have his guitar, but they handed him Tim's harmony, and he went out and played the set that is now part of that legendary concert. Meanwhile, Stevie Nicks was a kid, and she was starting to play and write on her Stella. So we get to the 70s. You get guys like J.J. Cale, a real innovator, very influential guitarist, saying that his harmony is his favorite guitar. He had an H162. You can actually see the headstock on the cover of his Troubadour LP. And then there's Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, another guy who had a Harmony Sovereign acoustic, an H1260.
That particular guitar is a vehicle whereby the first album of Led Zeppelin is written, the second album is written, the third album is written, and the fourth album is written. And it's the guitar that actually culminates on playing Stairway to Heaven.
I was reading in this really cool book, Harmony, The People's Guitar, 1945 to 1975 by Ron Rothman. He's got a quote from Jimmy Page in here. "What did I like about it? It helped me come up with all these amazing songs," he laughs. "It encouraged me. It didn't fight back and it didn't go out of tune. It would say to me, 'Come on, man, give me more, come on.'" Now I love that because that's really what we're talking about, is the inspiration that a certain guitar can have. It has a certain mojo, it has things it wants to say, and then if you as the guitarist have to just ask it, what do you want to say? And let it speak through you. So when Bob Dylan and the band were holed up in Woodstock, New York at Big Pink, the house acoustic guitar was a Harmony Stella. So Elvis Costello is another guy from the 70s who had a Harmony Sovereign, played it in London coffee houses and things before he really took off. But someone asked him, out of all the guitars you've used through the years, which are your most beloved? And here's what he said. "Most guitars have a few good tunes in them. My old Harmony Sovereign contained much of My Aim Is True." Allison, anybody? More recently, I've seen Elvis Costello picking up a Silvertone 1446. That's the guitar that Chris Isaak made famous. So, quick segue to the 80s. Let's look at Chris Isaak. He not only played a Silvertone 1446, he named an album Silvertone. So that's how much he loved that guitar and what an influence it had on him. So if we jump to today, I am constantly amazed. It's almost like every day I discover some other artist that is highly influential who is playing or has played a harmony guitar as part of a really critical element of their career. So an example would be Annie Clark's, known as St. Vincent. Early on in her career, she was playing a harmony bobcat. Kind of was her thing. Now she has her own signature Music Man model today, but back then it was the harmony bobcat. It had a really unique tone. It has de-armand gold foils. That is the case when you look down through all of these influential artists. If they're playing electric, they're playing a harmony model that has de-armand gold foils. There's Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys. He's really known for playing all kinds of different harmonies, but his favorite seems to be the H78. One of my personal favorites, Ben Schneider from Lord Huron. I love Lord Huron's sound, and a lot of it has to do with vintage guitars, guilds, and harmonies. An amazing artist, Brittany Howard from the Alabama Shakes. Again, early in the career, as they were taking off that first album with Hold On, she's playing a harmony rocket. Jack White has helped really foster the resurgence of funky guitars. He's been seen playing harmonies as well. John Foreman of Switchfoot likes his harmony rocket so much it showed up in a music video of theirs. People like Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day, Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins, and one of my personal favorites, Hozier. He was interviewed by Premier Guitar, and he talked about how important his Harmony H78 was to his sound on Take Me to Church and that whole album. He talked about it having a certain woof and bite that other instruments don't have, and that's certainly been my experience. The fact that Hozier, it just kind of blew my mind. I was thinking, how many more guitarists that I love are going to turn out to be harmony lovers? That was just a cool moment. I hope you'll take a look and kind of discover them. A great way to do that is to go to a local mom and pop music shop and play around. Usually you'll find vintage harmonies of some kind, whether it's acoustic or electric. Sometimes, though, if you don't, you might have to take a flyer and order one online. Nonetheless, in general, they're priced significantly lower than Fenders, Gibsons, and other, very well-known makers of that era. Part of that is because Harmony made so many guitars back in those days. But part of it also is just because they're not really thought of as great guitars, even though they really can be. If you get one, expect to bring it to a luthier and do a proper setup on it so you get the action the way you want. But other than that, most of these harmonies, the higher end harmonies, are a pretty darn good bet for vintage guitars. So there's your guitar discovery for the day. If you want to see all my videos, go to guitardiscoveries.com. They're all over there, along with a bunch of my music. I hope you'll check that out too. Check out my band Cosmic Spin. We have a song, Tougher Than the Rest, where the lead guitar solo was played on my trusty Harmony Rocket, and the sound, I could not be more proud of that tone and what the guitar inspired me to play. So check that out. Please subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified when all my videos come out. I love doing this, have so much fun. I hope you do too. Thanks, see you soon.